Subscribe to the podcast on MySpace and Nexopia. Thank you. Boys, is there anything to talk about today? Couldn't think of a thing.
Is Manoah back?
He might be, Rick.
Good outing yesterday.
I asked Coombsy whose bounce back is more impressive, Skinner or Manoah?
Are the Timberwolves going to win the championship?
I'm a big Ant Edwards guy.
Is his first name Ant?
Anthony.
I'd like it to be Ant. Or Ant Fernie.
Ant Fernie.
Rangers, Panthers, anybody?
Yep.
Is that tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, good news. The Oilers are off to the Western Conference Finals. Huzzah!
I just kept walking around my house this morning being like, boy, I'd be in a shitty mood if they would have lost last night.
I want to talk about what everybody did last night during the game. I know Dan was at Greta. I was pacing around my house like a lunatic. I saw Rick pour a bunch of beer in his face. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff to talk about as we recap Game 7 and look ahead at the next series. But first, we got to give a shout out to our friends at Wendy's. It is time for a delicious debate. Tyler, think about what you have to ask us. Well, I tell you that it takes hard work and determination to bring home the win. Luckily, all you need to do is bring home Wendy's rewards and eat for free, provided that you collect points. Just download the Wendy's app, place your favorite order, and you'll be well on the road to victory. And by victory, we mean free food. Come on. And hey, while you're racking up the reward points and eating your way through the menu, you'll also find plenty of deals along the way to keep the morale high. So what are you waiting for? Download the Wendy's app today. Start earning on every order you make. May I encourage a celebratory Wendy's meal post-podcast? I'm thinking a spicy chicken sandwich on a JBC on top of something else, a Baconator. I'm going to mash them all together, really compress them, dunk them in a Frosty and eat it.
Does Wendy listen to us?
Yes.
Because I'm not sure if this is in Canada. I think it might be only in the United States of America, and which is kind of upsetting. But they've added to their menu a 50-piece nugget bucket.
Yeah, I don't think that's in Canada.
I don't think so either.
I love a 50-piece.
Why not?
You
have the air fryer? Keep them fresh?
Come on. It's good living.
Why not?
It's good living. I will eat nuggos any day, anytime. There is no exceptions.
None.
Give me all the sauces. Or no sauces. Wendy's nuggets are delicious. Tyler, what have you got for us today for a delicious debate?
Well, it originally wasn't going to be this, but I thought Liam and I had a really interesting debate about it on Owen Everyday today, so I wanted to float it out to you guys. Who are your 3 stars of the series for the Edmonton Oilers?
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Thank you. 1, 2, and 3.
Obviously, the number 1 is Bush.
We both had Bush at
number
1. Number
2 is Leon.
I had Leon at 2. Liam had a different answer.
And number 3.
Different answer.
And 3 would be. Oh, man. Honestly, I think. People aren't going to like this. I'm going to go with Stu's bounce back.
For the whole series, Rick,
I know he's missing 2 games. I know he's missing 2.
And he's the reason this thing wasn't done in 4 or 5.
I don't really agree with that part, but I know not a lot of people agree with me.
I'm going to go.
Who's number 3? Yeah, go ahead. And I got to think about a third one.
Leon, number 1. He is carrying a 12-point streak, or 12-game point streak into the Western Conference Finals. He is so good in the playoffs that it defies logic.
I have my number 3.
Number 2, I'm going to give it to Dad.
Yep.
He was going up against a guy who is very likely to win the Norris Trophy this year. And in terms of production, it wasn't close. Mm-hmm. Evan Bouchard came through with clutch goals. He came through with game winners. He came through with all kinds of offense. And I'm going to do it. Nugent-Hopkins, series winning goal on the power play. He had 7 points in his last 5 games. We all needed him to pick it up. And he certainly did that in the back half of that series. So that's how I'm going to go. A little bit of depth scoring in there, as well as 2 studs as my 1 and 2.
So my 3 is officially Dylan Holloway. I think just adding to that second line and fulfilling that second line. I think what he added to that team is huge for us and pushes guys down the roster to where they need to be.
What was your list?
Oh, we're going Dad, then we're going Leon, and we're going Holloway.
I like it. Dan, what do you got? Who's your top 3? Who's your MVPs?
I would go number one, Bouchard, for the same reasons you guys already listed. Number two would be Zach Hyman. To me, just a guy that consistently stirs the stick with the offense and has just kind of kept this team scoring goals and shooting the puck every single night, which is something that the team doesn't necessarily do. And then number three, for me, I'm going to go off the board, but it's going to go to Little Z for both inspiring, I think, the team. He got the team fired up off the ice with his comments. And then every single time him and Evander Kane were on the ice, I felt like the Oilers were winning that emotional battle. And so I don't know, I'm giving it to Zadorov for firing up the team. And then also, and it was pointed out by Tyler off the air, and I didn't even realize it until this morning, but he blocked what was probably going to be the game tying goal for the Oilers. So big Z.
Big block by Zadorov on JT Miller. Didn't even move.
Unreal. Took
it like a champ. Liam, who you got? Who's your top three?
I said Bush, Pickard, and Draisaitl are my top three.
A little love for Pickard, eh?
I think Pickard came in and just they needed that win so bad, and he was really good in that game.
Hold on, you can't give it to Stu, but you can give it to Pickard for 2 games?
Yeah.
I know. But it's my list, and I'll do what I want.
Tyler, who's your list?
I went Bush, then Leon, and then I actually had Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Did you know, Oilers penalty kill, massive part of this series. The 5-on-3 they killed off in game 6 was huge. The 4-minute double minor in game 7 was massive.
And in game 6, they killed off a 4-minute double minor.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins spent the most time on ice on the penalty kill amongst all forwards.
He played the most time on ice of any forward last night.
That is crazy. He had such a good game defensively on the PK. He chipped in with a power play goal, chipped in with a 5v5 goal in game 6.
Block shot.
This might be the best I've ever seen Ryan Nugent-Hopkins play these last 2 games.
I want to pump Nugent's tires here for a minute because he scored in the first game of the first series against LA. It was a power play goal, backdoor tap in. He had missed one earlier in the game. He got that one. Okay, fine. Then he didn't score up until game 4 against Vancouver?
Yeah, he missed that net in game 1 that would have made it a 4-goal
He also
lead.
zipped one just wide right at the end of game 3 when they could have tied it with less than a minute left. And I think that a lot of people really needed him to pick it up, and he did. 7 points in the last 5 games. They weren't all power play points. In fact, more of them were even strength points than they were power play points. So he came through with a heater at the perfect time when the team needed it. So he deserves some love. Plus, stash bum tickler combo he's got, the pirate. That's fantastic. Anybody else outside your top 3 that just deserves a mention?
Well, the fourth line.
Fourth line, yes. Yeah.
100%. Sam Carrick came in after not playing for a while. He didn't play a ton of minutes, but
very effective.
I would argue he was very effective in game 6 and 7.
Very.
He was winning draws. He was physical. He was strong on the forecheck. And I'm not just saying that because we have 2 bottles of delicious Carrick Bro syrup outside in the office.
And I think a lot of credit too, just for that decision to put Carrick in. Obviously, Chris Knobloch, you look at the way he handled the goaltending. After game 1, I was livid. I was like, why are you not calling a timeout at any point in that 3-goal collapse? And what does he do in game 7? Calls a greatly timed timeout. So
basically stopped it too. Like it quieted down the noise. The Oilers did not give up a shot after that.
And then we got a commercial break right after that too.
And Nurse was apparently very vocal during that TV timeout, firing up the team. So gave them a big talking to. So he was great. The interesting part of this too, if you were to just keep going, if you go like the 10 stars in order, where's Connor McDavid?
I'd still put him in my 4 or 5 spot just because quietly put together 9 assists, 8 assists in this round. And again, I think
a big goal in game 2.
And we heard it last night in the interview with Dan Murphy. He's a little raspy sound and he's
sick. He's November sick right now, I think. Yep. You know that November illness he normally gets?
Yep.
That kind of explains that into game 5, I think. Game 6 and so game 5, where I think they all just seemed pretty flat. They had something running through the dressing room, and I know it's not something you're supposed to lean on or, use it as an excuse. And obviously we don't have to now that we were able to pull that out. But I do think that when you heard Connor speaking yesterday, that tells you something. It's not like he's sitting in the bar yelling like I am. His voice is raspy for better reasons, I suppose.
Although it probably didn't help. Did you see him screaming at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Like, let's fucking go. I'm sure. Obviously he was sick, but there's no way that helped the old throat.
Yeah.
but I love to see
Emotion.
it. That was exactly what I want to see.
The one guy I was going to say that didn't make it on anybody's list, but I think everybody would give a nod to is Matthias Ekholm for unleashing what Bouchard has been able to do as well. But he's just been everything we've wanted out of him.
He scored in the first 3 games of the series too.
There you go.
Yeah,
He had points in the first 4 as well. Like Matthias Ekholm is, what a trade that's been.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was a good player and we got him, but man, the way that those two have anchored the first pairing, and that is a legit first pairing.
Oh yeah, Evan Bouchard's a legit top pairing defenseman.
There is
Go down
no
the hallway and say
questions
that.
about
What's he
it.
saying?
Jay, well,
Yeah,
he's
what's
in
the-
on it. He gets it.
Is his tune changing a little bit?
I think a little.
I don't think he's making any trades with Evan
Yeah.
Bouchard in there anymore.
Let me ask
I
you
wonder
a
what he's
different
paying him.
question for the delicious debate for our friends at Wendy's. Unsung hero from the second round against the Canucks. Who you got?
Fourth line.
Got to
I
pick
was-
one, Rick.
Jan Mark.
I was
I was actually going to say, Mark, but I'll say Kulak.
I was going to say Kulak too,
That's
actually.
fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to give some love to Mr. Game 7, Cody Ceci, because I thought as the series gone on, he got bumped down in the third pairing, probably more appropriate minutes for him, but he just got better as the series went on. And I know a lot of people, myself included, were kind of looking for an upgrade on that spot at the trade deadline, but
Yeah.
he came through. And that is the second time in a Game 7, Cody Ceci has opened the scoring.
We won both games.
Just, you got to give a little bit of love to a guy when he couldn't have placed that shot any better if I wrote that up in a wet dream. It was just like, if we were back in the 90s a little bit, that water bottle would have shot off like a rocket. Actually, you know what? NHL, bring back the water bottle on top of the net. I miss those.
Please. See that junior kid who like popped one and went in the air, caught it and drank out of the goalie's water bottle?
Yep.
So good. Any other unsung heroes, gentlemen?
I like Jan Mark. I just think the penalty kill was so damn good. And obviously there's a good amount of talk about the Oilers power play and how dominant it can be and what a big key to victory it always is. But the fact their penalty kill, which was dog shit for long stretches in the regular season, it was good for stretches too, but it was real bad for a little bit there. The fact that was able to kind of come through for them the way it did, like total game changer to have those kinds of
They
kills.
kept them off the board games 4, 5, 6, and 7.
I want to
right?
go even a step further than that because we're talking years where the Oilers penalty kill was a liability. Years. So to have it now be in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2024, they have the best special teams, full stop. What can you say? What can you say?
The funny thing is they also have the highest 5-on-5 scoring this postseason as well.
Power play merchants, no more.
No more. They're all around. And I guess when you look at it on paper, this is why Dallas is getting all the love and whatnot. But you look at our special teams, it's combined, it's unstoppable. It's one of the best ever. We're leading the league right now. We're leading the playoffs in 5-on-5 scoring. I think there should be a little more vocal love for this team.
We're the only not top seed left. The Stars, the Rangers, and the Panthers all won their division.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. It is weird that we are getting as much respect as we are in that sense, because the Dallas Stars were competing for the President's Trophy this year.
Yeah, I think this series is gonna be interesting. We're gonna have to obviously be at our best, and it's gonna be an extremely tough series, but I don't think you can just call this Dallas in a walk.
No, I don't think you can either. But the interesting thing too, just going back, like Vancouver, it was like, okay, if Edmonton brings their A+ and Vancouver brings their A+, Edmonton wins. If Edmonton brings their A+ and Dallas brings their A+, it is still a coin flip, because that means the Dallas A+ involves a Jake Ottinger A+. And if Jake Ottinger's A+, holy shit, you might just be screwed no matter what.
Yeah, but the way we've been playing so well defensively in our own end, giving up, the lack of quality opportunities we've been
High
giving away.
danger chances.
Yeah.
Like the fact that the Oilers have been able to lock things down defensively the way they have is pretty stunning, actually.
Yeah.
They were very porous. And what was that? 6 months ago? 5 months ago? So to see this turn around as the season went along is just bananas. It really is.
But they're playing their best when it's needed.
Yeah. and
That's what winning teams do.
it's playing their best, and they're getting contributions from throughout the lineup. Last year, what did we say in the second round? We had guys, Hyman, Kane, Nuge, they weren't there.
Yep.
At least on the scoreboard.
Yep.
You can't say that against Vancouver.
No.
All
Or
three
LA.
of those guys. All three of those guys found a way to contribute in different ways. Hyman had obviously Kane had a big goal in game 6. Nuge scored in game 6, scored again last night. Kane was very physical last night, especially on Zadorov. Any chance he had, he was taking a run at Big Z.
Kane had a couple good looks as well.
Really
almost
good
burnt
looks.
past Zadorov once, almost jumped around him another time, or did burn past him once, and it resulted in an in-tight shot on goal too. So I thought Evander Kane was another guy who, as the series has gone on, maybe he's starting to get a little healthier, and it just felt like his legs were moving a little bit more. And I think that is obviously a big, big thing for the Oilers, because the emergence of Dylan Holloway and a full-on playoff Evander Kane on a line with playoff Leon Draisaitl is like, whew, that'll be a lot for the Stars to handle.
Another unsung hero that I want to talk about from round 2 is the adjustments Chris Knobloch made.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Big Dave Quadrelli at Canucks Army, and he goes, early in the series, I thought Tocchet was out coaching Knobloch, but like as the series wore on, Nobby made adjustments everywhere. He separated Connor and Leon after, what was that, game 5? Game 3? He separated those two. The team's obviously better when those two are anchoring their own line. He called a huge timeout last night when we needed to. He refrained from challenging the goal in game 6 based on what he saw in Dallas the night before.
Could have cost them a power play or put them shorthanded, and the goalie stuff.
So Chris Knobloch, despite being a rookie coach, man, the cojones on that guy.
And I don't know who you give credit to, but I know I read that article from Bruce Kurlock after game 6, and he showed a lot of little intricacies in the breakout and in supporting your defenseman and whatnot. That was massive, because we talked about that after game 5, and everything seemed to be a 40-yard pass down the field, right? Like there was no, these guys are coming out, they're aggressive. When they're aggressive, you need to be a closer unit, and then short little passes, and that's how you break out in these situations. Game 5, there was none of that. Game 6, Bruce's article had all sorts of videos of showing these little small nuances out there.
Simple hockey.
And that's what it was. And we dominated the last 2 games because of it.
Also,
like last night's game was not a 3-2 game.
No. Had it not been for Seelovs, that's 5-6-0
And
early in the game.
Good on Vancouver for, making the most of the McLeod turnover. But without that turnover, I think it's a shutout.
It's interesting too, because McLeod didn't play after that, I don't think. And in his post game, Knobloch was just like, well, you make a mistake like that, you get in your own head. You never know what it's going to be like next time you touch the puck. He probably would have been fine, but we had other guys that could handle it. That's the nice part about having a deep team. I'm paraphrasing.
That's fair.
But
you toss him back out there next game.
Yeah, he's back out there next game.
Here's a question. What do you do with Mr. Henrique if he's ready?
Take out Derek Ryan and make Henrique the center, and then put Fogle and McLeod on the wings.
I would do everything, but I'd take Carrick out and keep Ryan in.
See, my answer was going to be take out Connor Brown.
Yeah.
I thought Brown played pretty well yesterday.
He played pretty well.
Honestly, you're coming, like, whether it be Carrick, Ryan, or Brown, they're all relatively the same type of player and been playing the same kind of letter grade right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a Connor can't score.
I think
he's going to score 60 next year, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Connor can't shoot the puck right now. I think they trust Ryan more than they trust Carrick. I think that's what it comes down to.
What about Brown?
I think Brown's better on the PK than Carrick.
Fair. Because I think we really liked the energy that Carrick brought.
Like
there was a definite you could feel the change. You could see the change when he was out there.
I thought he was strong on the cycle too. He did a really good job of pinning pucks down low.
Yeah,
really good job with it.
Really like Derek Ryan's game this series too.
I know.
He's just sneaky dirty too.
Just that old man stuff out there.
Derek Ryan, he'll stick you when you don't see it coming.
Mm-hmm. That's what I would do. I think they trust Derek Ryan maybe a little bit more. I'm a little bit, like, the gap isn't huge. Like,
no, God, no.
But I'm a little bit less worried about Derek Ryan getting stuck out there against the Stars top line versus Carrick. I think Ryan's smart enough to survive kind of an onslaught in a big cycle. I think Carrick might get a little scrambly at times.
There's another thing about your coaching decisions there is I'm pretty sure the same line started the last 6 periods. And that was
going back to the McLeod line.
And that was the McLeod line.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing is there's no doubt Dallas is the best team that the Oilers have played so far in the playoffs. But when they're playing as well as they, again, like to your point, Rick, outside of that McLeod turnover,
the game wasn't close.
the Oilers were running the show for 53 minutes, and it really wasn't close.
And I really think if they would have played like they did in 6 and 7, this would have been over in 4 or 5. But they didn't, so it is what it is. You move on. But their last 2 games, I think you saw them dominate 6 straight periods, and I think that's great for their confidence going to the next round.
I did a little emergency well, not an emergency, but like a quick recap episode of Better Late Than Never this morning. And I felt like the Canucks won 3 games in that series, but they only deserved 1 of those wins. They were the better team in game 5.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
But in game 1, a save would have been nice. Fine.
We went 23 minutes without a shot.
Exactly. Game 3, they outshot the Canucks 45-18 or something like that. They just couldn't get it to go again. They need that extra save. So to me, the Canucks won 1 game outright. And the Oilers had to 1, beat the Canucks, 2, beat themselves, and 3, they found a way to get that done despite having their backs up against the wall in game 6. Game 6 was electric. Game 7, they somehow got better. And had it not been for some huge stops from Seelovs, like I think of that one on Brett Kulak, the first handful of minutes.
Yeah, that was huge.
Huge save.
That Leon one, they dusted
Leon
it off
too.
first and kind of went off the defenseman's stick first.
And that was small Cole and Seelovs.
Connor Brown, breakaway.
fair.
I mean, Brown probably shot at the logo a little bit more than I'd like, but like
He was
still.
looking 5-hole. You got to get it over the stick if you're going to do that.
Tough angle. It's a
I
tough
didn't-
spot to hit.
But again, big stop by Seelovs.
Yeah.
Great
Credit
play
where
with
credit
a
is due.
PK.
So to me, as I was watching the game last night, it could have been 3 rip after the end of 1. And instead it went into the intermission tied.
Yeah. And then in the second, you had Draisaitl on that power play look. Cole deflected it right into Seelov's sprawling glove, which again, good defensive plays. Like you're getting in the lanes. The Canucks were playing desperate and all that. But the Oilers had, I mean, this is obvious. We all watched the game. They had way more quality scoring chances. Not even close.
Couple of things I got to mention before we get into some betting talk. We got Dan's 3v3 and then Waz. We're going to teach him a couple of things. Cody Ceci again, opened the scoring. Beautiful shot. Second time in game 7, that guy has gotten the first goal.
Mr. Game 7.
Who had that on the bingo card? And yet maybe we should have. Maybe we should have.
Was 365 even offering that one?
I don't know.
Another thing I want to mention too that's just been kind of funny is I got to talk about Johnny Lazarus's take from Morning Cup of Hockey, where he said it was going to be a lose-lose situation for the Oilers.
They're trying,
if they
man.
lost the series, they lost the series. If they won, it's still a loss because the Canucks were without Demko and they didn't have Besser. And I really like what Brett Holden said last night on After Dark. He goes, you can only play the team in front of you. What do you want them to do? So I chimed in. I was like, that's exactly right. Do you want the Oilers to allow them to play with 6? Should we play with 4 because they're missing key players? You got to beat the team in front of you, and the Oilers did it. Full stop.
My response
People
to
just
that.
trying their narratives to do everything they can to speak downwards or, be against the Oilers. Quite
My
funny
response to
watch.
that was the quote from I Think You Should Leave. It's just because you don't like what I'm doing doesn't mean you can change the rules. And it's just like straight up, we can't undo the fact that we were the reason that the Canucks went to 7 with us. Like I don't know. It's just such a logic defeating conversation to have with yourself, but it got the clicks and it got some engagement and it got us all fired up. So
I think it proves the Edmonton Oilers own a lot of rent-free property and a lot of mines across the nation.
I loved it.
yeah.
Like we are very, very experienced in going through playoffs when our team's not there. And what do? We ever sit there and take our logo and push it into someone else's logo and say, hey, now we become one, or put on someone else's jersey? No, I sit there and I specify I'm cheering for team X to lose, but by no means am I cheering for team Y to win. I am there for them to lose. And when it's over, it's a 2 golf clap and I'm getting the hell out of the way. If you guys won, whatever, do your cheer. I'm no part of this. I just want to see them lose. That's not what you saw at anybody. We are now becoming one. So 2 hated teams, 2 hated fan bases are like, now we're coming together here. We'll take our jerseys, we'll cut them down the middle, we'll sew them together. We're going to become one. That's not, I don't know if Boston Pizza wrote that up, but that's not the way we do it here. And we've gone through a lot of times with not being in the playoffs.
Fortunately, Boston Pizza team up for the win. Now everybody can jump aboard.
Rick don't want them.
I don't want them.
I also don't want them, to be honest.
Shout out Flames fans now cheering for the Dallas Stars and Ottinger, who shut them out.
Dude, I saw someone tweet today that the Stars are owned by a company and the company's from Vancouver. Therefore, that is now the Canada's team.
Makes sense.
Good. I don't want you guys
Oilers have the
cheering for us.
most Canadian players on a roster in the Cap era.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
And
Literally, we had all but two.
So Frank pointed out, it's all these Canadians and Leon Draisaitl, who moved here when he was 16 to play junior hockey, and Derek Ryan, who went to the University of Alberta.
Sorry, and Ekholm then. 3.
And Ekholm.
And Janmark.
And Janmark.
And Ekholm has posted up in Edmonton since being traded here. Just
Hasn't
planted
left.
roots.
And has a child here.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's team.
Canada's team. Feels good, boys.
I want to know, again, we got some other segments to go. I just want to know, what were you guys doing last night? Because I'm going to start with Dan down at Greta. We were doing our watch party for an away game. What were the vibes like at Greta? What was it like? Where were you?
My first official playoff watch party this year so far. I've been hoping and praying that there might be a fight breakout for work and I could actually clip it.
Did you mean on TV or in the bar?
Well, either or, but yeah, no, I don't work for Yegwave, but yeah,
the old bouncer in you. I thought you might want to dive in the middle there.
The former bouncer in me. Yeah, no, it's Greta was an absolute blast. The vibes were immaculate. The crowd was insane. We were going nuts. And then, man, oh man, the tension in that last 5 minutes, you could just cut it in the air. And I actually, when the Oilers were up 3-1, Gino wanted to do a quick photo with the sunglasses. And so I just had the idea to switch the sunglasses with Brett. Not a minute after, not even like a second after I got the glasses off Brett's face and on mine, they scored the 3-2 goal and I got screamed at. So we switched back quickly and resumed and we were all good. So Greta, an absolute blast to be there. We will see you guys there on Thursday night.
Liam, I asked you in our team meeting this morning, what was the banana count? Where were you? What was the vibes?
This is interesting.
I had 6.5 bananas yesterday.
Please explain that.
One of them was bad at the bottom. So I just had to cut half and then I couldn't take it anymore. So I got rid of it. And I just watched with my parents. It was very stressful in horrible manner. 6
bananas. A whole bundle.
Half.
Did you see that video of the guy that eats the entire banana that I sent you? The baseball player from Virginia Tech?
A few people sent me that one, yes. I don't eat them like that because I'm not that weird.
He eats the banana like a cob of corn.
I think he was doing that because he was in the back of the interview. He was doing that on purpose.
He ate the peel on purpose?
Did he eat the peel?
Yes.
Okay, I saw him eating like a cob. Cob of corn, but I thought he was doing that just because he was in the.
No, apparently he does that all the time, and he ate the entire banana.
That's where the vitamins are, is in the peel.
Thanks.
Tyler, where were you? What were the vibes?
In my basement, just with a couple of friends. Before the game, our way of getting out all the bad juju, we were doing our best Chris Cuthbert impression, but only of terrible things that could happen in the game. So we were sitting around, we're like, and just like that, it's 4-0 Canucks. Phil Di Giuseppe, 4th of the game. Like shit like that. It was funny.
Pizzas.
I was like, Neil Zaman has his first career hat trick, and it's off. Darnell Nurse is skating in overtime. That's
I would not have been able to be anywhere near that.
I couldn't have been in that room at all.
It's real fun.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Rick, what was the vibe for you last night?
It was nervous, man. I think everybody is feeling that Game 7, whatever that feeling in the pit of your stomach was. And my biggest feeling was I was just anxious. I want to get the game going. I want to show me the guys are skating. Show me they look like Game 6 team, and I think we'll be okay. And then, you got through that first period, and I think the overall feeling was, okay, that's good. But then there was that underlying 13-2. But shit, you kind of needed to get one there just to get that, in case they sneak one or whatever. And then, whatever happened in the second period. And we got down to that, the mistake by Clouder there. And the people around were getting a little tense. And I was like, hey, no, don't worry. And that next one is like, Kate, like, don't worry. Like, that's what's okay. Like, we've been here, whatever. And then, yeah, it just kind of... I don't even know if I could even break down what happened after that in terms of the gameplay.
I feel like I didn't even watch.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here trying to think now, and that goal happens with like 4 minutes to go or something like that. That 3-2 goal.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's some battles along the boards down low, and then maybe a shot or two towards our net. Then it comes out the blue line, and that blue line was like 10 seconds to go. And at that point, it was mayhem.
There was like one cross crease pass where I remember being like, "Oh, that's the one where it's going to deflect in and it's going to be all over."
It went right through the guy at the back door, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was Joshua.
But otherwise, it was pretty low event, which was nice for the last 30 seconds.
I'm getting stressed just thinking about it.
I was also like
am
a lot of
freaking out
love
right now.
too. There was a shift by Hyman and Fogle
Oh, yes.
where they basically pinned it down at the other end when the first line was on the
Fair.
ice and basically wiped out that entire shift.
Yeah.
That was a massive moment because it knocked like a minute off the clock.
Yeah.
Shout out to
That
his
was-
parents for teaching him that.
Yeah, shout out mom and dad. To all the families.
Cost them a lot.
Yesterday's game, actually. That was huge. Like Fogle, very little impact on this series in many ways, but I thought that play was just like very relentless of him just to continue going. Even when he was like down, he was just like right back up and kept it going. It just showed like the willingness for the Oilers to be like, no, we will kill this narrative.
Dude,
right now.
block shot by Leon, block shot by Nuge, block shot by Connor.
That's
Everybody
on one knee, like
everybody's involved in this, and that's massive. That's one of those things you look back, in the summertime, and you look back at the team that just won, and you're like, look at their star players are doing this, and they're putting their bodies on the line.
I was texting Wanye during the third period just as we were doing vibe checks.
I don't know how, like he texted me once or twice, and I could get like 3 words out, and his phone's back in the pocket. I just
The thing that
paste.
stuck out to me from that, like our back and forth, was exactly what you said. The players were buying in. They believed. Leon's blocking shots, like big shots. Nuge is blocking shots. The Oilers, according to the NHL site, had 21 blocked shots last night. Even that feels light to me because the boys were throwing their bodies in front of everything.
Good sticks. That
Great sticks.
I really enjoyed how aggressive that penalty kill was. Like you were down their best shooter, their best forward, their best whatever, and you had to take advantage of it and not allow them an opportunity to set up.
Yeah. I mean, like that 4-minute double minor at the end of the first period, I went, whoa, fuck. We need a kill here and we need one the worst way. And the fact that the Oilers didn't even allow a shot on goal through
Incredible.
that 4 minutes is remarkable. They were so aggressive on the PK and it was dynamite to watch.
they outshot them.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
I know this is not, some people aren't going to like this, but man, I think Peterson is quite overrated. And I think Hughes is a bit of a perimeter player. And I said the same thing about his brother after watching the Devils.
He has a brother?
Yeah.
2.
Elias Pettersson has a brother.
No, I said Hughes.
Oh,
But there is a second Elias Pettersson.
There is.
They also
Yeah.
drafted him.
Peterson, like he was a little bit involved yesterday in these little perimeter plays, and I thought same thing with Hughes. I was not impressed with either one of them. Now I get it; it's the playoffs, it's 7 games, whatever. There could be injuries or something like that, but the guys around me too were. Peterson was one person said he's the most overrated player in the league.
Yeah, come on now.
Well, it's like one of those things where
It's not 11 and a half, 11.6.
Mitch Marner.
we're
Fair.
gonna hear about the injuries that these guys have had when they do their postseason avails. or whatever.
Tomorrow-ish, probably.
Not tomorrow, because Avril Lavigne's in Vancouver, so they got bumped today. I was talking to Big Dave this morning, and he goes, "No avails tomorrow. They got to wait for Avril Lavigne to do her thing."
do we even know it's Avril Lavigne?
Yeah. What if it's that other girl?
Could be the
Alyssa.
other one.
Avril died a long time ago, didn't she?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I imagine we're going to hear a bunch of injuries come out. We always do, but at the same point, you can't tell me the Oilers are all healthy right now, and yet they still found a way to get the job done.
Mm-hmm. And even like the guy, like if you say Connor was sick, he still was trying to hit. He's still going to the middle of the ice. And I just didn't see that same thing from their 2 superstars.
Pettersson was physical.
You did throw the body on 4 or 5 tries. Yeah, 100%. But those were all like checks along the boards and checks on the perimeter. They did not like go to the dirty areas where it's just not fun to play.
The fact that the Oilers were able to do that also in Vancouver, like Tyler, Liam, we were there. You know that barn was going to be absolutely rocking last night, and the boys did a great job, again, for 52 minutes of really taking the crowd out of it. I admire the way they were trying to get something going, chanting random players' names, even when the puck wasn't in their zone.
They're down 3-0. They were chanting for Petey, weren't they?
Yeah, and I appreciated that in the sense that they're trying to get something going, but man, to have the Oilers, the only team to win back-to-back games in the series, It's fantastic. But again, they've been there before. They've done that before. They're a mature team now. This is what they did against LA 2 years ago. And I personally felt like LA was a better team then than Vancouver is now.
Yeah.
Oh, LA back then, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I think you agreed with them last show, by the way, when you said this.
did I? Well,
Yeah.
maybe I've had some more time to think about it.
I think you did the same, like, you did a little bit hum and a ha, and then you're like, yeah, maybe a bit.
I just try to remember that team a little bit more. I think that LA team was maybe like Hughes is
They were more veteran. They were a more veteran team though. That LA team. They had been there before.
Norris this year if he's overrated or not. So that would make him like a top 10 player in the league. I don't know if LA had that at that time, and I think Sea Loves was probably a bit better than what Quick was at that time. It's close, and it's a good comparison.
You'll allow it?
I'll let this one fly.
All right. As long as Liam lets it fly, that's all that matters.
Let's have a peek.
While you're looking that up, let's do a little betting talk for our friends at Bet365 here, gentlemen. The betting segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Oilers Nation Radio. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code Oily Bonus. Tyler, what's the promo code?
Oily bonus.
Oily Bonus it is.
Are we doing the guessing thing? So I'm not allowed to look again.
I just got a couple of futures for you.
Okay, so I'm allowed to look.
You're allowed to look.
Okay, good.
So I have got Bet365 open here, and I've got the futures for the series against Dallas. What is your score? What is your series prediction? Actually, I'm going to do it two ways. What's your series prediction? And can you guess the odds on that prediction? Let's try that.
Okay, so I'm going to say Oilers in, 7.
Oilers in 7. All right. What do you think the odds are for Oilers winning in 7?
I'm fairly sure we go into the first game plus 100.
Does anybody else have Oilers in 7? They want to play with Rick on Price is Right rules.
Not me.
I have Oilers in 7.
Okay, so I'm going Oilers in 7. I'm saying plus 145.
I'll say plus 180.
Anybody else Oilers in 7?
No.
Oilers in 7 currently listed at plus 450.
Say 450?
Plus 450.
Tempting.
Holy Moses.
4-5 because you're 4.
Or sorry,
4.5
plus
to
550. Plus 550.
Whoa.
You're picking an outcome out of the series here. So
Yep. So
I like
Oilers
that.
in 7. Dan, what do you got?
I say Oilers in 6, and I'm going to guess that's plus 700.
I also have Oilers in 6. And
I think it'll pay out lower.
what do you think, Tyler?
Lower?
420.
Maybe like 410.
Plus 450 Oilers in 6.
I have no
Interesting.
idea.
That's interesting.
There you go.
You're right. It doesn't make a ton of sense, Dan, because
Yeah.
they're the underdog. So you think you'd
Right.
get better odds, but I think maybe game 6 being at home. I don't know.
Liam, what do you got? What's your prediction?
I think Oilers in 6.
So we got the plus 450.
Can I give you my favorite bet?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, you may.
I hit both of these wagers so far. How about this? I have only placed 5 series long bets in this series. Obviously, I've been betting more game to game. Round 1, I did Oilers minus 1.5 in the series, hit. Oilers in exactly 5 hit. And then Connor McDavid 12 plus points hit. So I was 3-0. This last series, I only bet on 2 things. Bet365 offers goal head-to-head matchups.
Love that.
McDavid versus Draisaitl, McDavid versus Hyman was minus 110 on every side of it. So I took Hyman to score more goals than McDavid and Draisaitl to score more goals than McDavid, minus 110 each. This time around, Hyman's minus 130, Draisaitl's minus 115. I'm taking him again. Connor can't shoot. Those guys are goal scoring machines. I love those bets.
Do you think he can't shoot? He's choosing not to shoot. Like, why? Like, there's game 6.
Like Jerry Seinfeld when he chooses not to race.
Yeah. Game 6, like, what she loves was like falling forwards, and he could have done that little flip over and instead he went behind the net. And
Yeah, I don't know. He's attempted some shots. Like he missed the net last game. He had the one shot. I think it's weird. Like it would maybe if he's got something in his upper body, but you think it would be affecting the other sides of his game more than it is, which is the part that's confusing to me.
maybe just setting everybody up, handing the puck off all the time. Now in this round, he comes out, he scores 14 goals this round.
Yeah, maybe.
Another guessing game for you from old bag milk from our friends at Bet365. Who is going to score the most goals in the series between Edmonton and Dallas? And then what are the odds that you think are applicable?
Both
to
teams
said bet?
combined?
Both teams combined.
I'll go with Draisaitl, and I will go with plus 375.
We're picking the player.
You're going to pick the player who you think is going to score the most goals in the series, and then trying to take a guess what the odds are. Anybody else have Leon Draisaitl?
What did you say, Draisaitl?
Plus 375.
I'll say Hyman plus 275.
Leon Draisaitl currently listed and scored the most goals in the series at plus 450.
Oh,
Zachary Martin Hyman at plus 350.
It's not too far off.
Anybody else you're curious about? Just because I got the list up.
What is McDavid?
Kane?
Oh,
Vander Kane plus 2,500 to score the most goals in the series.
Well, that'll be nice.
25-1.
What about from the other side? What is Wyatt?
Wyatt is listed at plus 500.
Are these just a win or do they have like totals too? Like you can get
No,
Leon
just,
at 8.
just most goals in the series.
Yeah, they also do have 3, 5, and 7, like over 3, over 5, over 7. Or sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Oh my.
So what do you think? What do you got Leon in there?
I would have him
What's his ceiling?
over
5?
6.
6 plus goals. Draisaitl is 12-1.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Most points in the series.
Oh boy.
Most points in the series.
It's got to be Connor and like not great, like minus 110.
Anybody else have Connor? I don't want to guess.
I would say Draisaitl.
Connor's listed currently at plus 120 to score the most points in the series. Draisaitl is plus 225. Plus 225. I love the futures over at Bet365. We're going to have more fun with them as the series rolls along.
Just some decisions to make here.
Got some decisions to make. My betting account is looking good. Where am I going to dabble? That's the question we have today. The betting segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Oilers Nation Radio. Open up an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code OILYBONUS. Liam, promo code?
Oily bonus.
We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come right back with Dan's 3v3. Time for Dan's 3v3, courtesy of Great Clips, with more than 4,400 hair salons throughout the United States and Canada. Great Clips is the world's largest hair salon brand and official hair salon of the NHL. Salons are locally owned and operated, open 7 days a week. Your time is valuable. Use the Great Clips check-in app. See the wait times, check on your phone, and get your hair cut when you want. For more information, check out greatclips.com. Great Clips. It's going to be great. Dan, what do you got for us for a 3v3 today?
Well, sadly, our next opponent is the Dallas Stars. And of course, there's nothing interesting about the city of Dallas or Texas or anything. So our game is just going to be straight up Oilers and Stars former players. So you've had to have played for both the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. I've sent the list to all the boys. They can do it off the list or they can do it off the top of their dome. I did the draft order while we were talking, and it's going to go Liam, myself, Rick, Bag Milk, and Tyler. So that is your order. Liam, you are up first, and you are drafting one of 3 players that have played for the Edmonton Oilers or the Dallas Stars and a goalie. So should we do that? I think we should do this one fair terms. It has to be 1 defenseman, 2 forwards, and a goalie.
Okay.
2-1-1.
Devin Shaw.
Liam
always on brand.
On brand. Devon Shore. I am going to grab fan favorite in both Edmonton and I'm sure in Dallas. Ales Hemsky.
Devin Shaw.
Fuck.
Ales Hemsky is off the board. Rick, you're next up, drafting a former Edmonton and Dallas Star player.
Didn't I just see him here? I thought I saw him here. Yes, I did see him there. I'm going to go with Billy Guerin.
Ooh, that's good.
One. Bill Guerin is on Rick's squad this week. And we are going to be over to Bagged Milk drafting. Tyler up next.
I'm doing this one from the heart. This guy meant a lot to Edmonton, even though he didn't get the respect he probably deserved while he was here. Former captain, Sean Horkoff.
Sean Horkoff. Slava Horkoff in Bagged Milk squad. Tyler with 2 picks back to back. What do you got?
All right. I'm going to take this in a bit of a different direction, I think. So give me Ray Whitney and give me UC Jokinen.
Expect a big
shootout specialist.
Yeah, all hands team is what I'm going for here.
Jokinen drafted to Tyler's team. Bagged Milk, who are you joining Sean Horkoff on your squad with?
You know what? I need a defenseman, so I'm going to take him off the board. Sexy Reg, Andre Sekera.
I like that.
Damn you.
Andrzej Sekera is off the board. And Rick, you are joining Bill Guerin with...
Well, we're going to go with, he's on the team right now. We're going to go with Matthias Janmark.
Mr. Janmark. You were afraid that either Tyler or Liam were going to grab him off the board.
And release him.
Grabbed him quick. Smart move. Savvy move. I'm up next. I am going to grab the cannon himself, Sheldon Surrey.
Ooh,
very nice.
Alashemsky feeding Sheldon Surrey in the back end. And Liam, you are up next with 2 picks yourself.
Mike Smith.
Mike Smith, the goalie.
Very
First
nice.
goalie off the board. Huge pick.
And then I need 1 defenseman, 2 forwards, you said?
Correct. Traditional style. 3 game.
What player will I pick? I will pick Dave Manson.
Dave Manson
Shout out to Dave.
joining Liam's squad, meaning I get to do another pick. And I've already grabbed my defenseman. I might as well look at a goalie. I'm going to grab Ron Tugnut.
I was going to go with
I'm going
Tucker.
to grab
Tugnut.
Tugger Nuts is on my team. Yeah, that's what we call him on the Oilers team, or in the Edmonton, Dan's team. Jesus. Easy for me to say. Rick, save me from speaking and pick a player.
One player here. Well, I'm going to leave that one then. I'm going to go with the crazy defenseman, Yanni Niinema.
Great pick.
I don't know how to spell that off the top.
There's a lot of eyes.
A lot of
Sound it
eyes.
out.
He bought all the vowels.
All of them.
Ma.
Niinema. Yane Niinema is what I have so far. Autocorrect. Shout out.
Close.
Bag Milk. You have Sean Horkoff and Andrzej Sekera. Who else is joining you?
I need a goalie, so I'm going to a legend. Andy Moog. Come on down.
Andy Moog. I thought you were going elsewhere with that when you said legend. Richard is still there. Tyler, you're up next with 2 picks back to back.
Jason Demers, Richard Bachman.
There it is.
ONE guest.
Yep. Shout out every Monday, Owen every day.
Jason Demers.
I wanted to go lowest amount of games played for the Oilers while still staying relevant was my goal with this draft.
Nice. Like it. It's a good pick. Bachman and Demers. Bag Milk, rounding out your squad with a forward pick.
He was the answer for us. He came in on a PTO, cashed in a big ticket after scoring 22 goals on the power play. Alex Chiasson, come on down.
Alex Chiasson, power play
This was-
specialist.
They were
This was
all
probably the
power
widest
goals.
player pool we've had to do this.
Yes, the Dallas Stars love drafting and picking up former Edmonton Oilers. Rick, you have a goaltender you have to add to your squad.
He was around at a time when it's tough to make the squad. We just had some quality goaltenders at the time, and I believe he was a Cape Breton Oiler legend. Kari Taco.
Great name, too. All-time name.
Kari Taco.
What day is it today?
Not quite. Oh, it is. It is.
Kari Taco.
Taco Tuesday.
Tuesday. To join my squad, I am going to go ahead and grab one Todd Harvey. Going to get a little bit of grinder there, a 4th line grinder out of
I remember that year he came in, man. We brought in 5 guys that year, and I thought that was it. Ben Eager's going to be a big addition here.
Liam, you get to round out this draft, and I'm going to do a recap of our teams for the listeners, and then they'll be able to.
Corey Perry.
Corey Perry joining Liam's squad. And so your final tally is Liam's team, including Corey Perry. You got Devin Shore, Dave Manson, and Mike Smith. Rick had drafted Bill Guerin, Matthias Janmark, Yanni Niinema, and Kari Taco. Bag Milk has Sean Horkoff, Alex Chiasson, Andrzej Sekera, and Andy Moog. Tyler, Ray Whitney, UC Jokinen, Jason Demers, and Richard Bachman. And finally, last but not least, myself with Alex Hemsky, Todd Harvey, Sheldon Surrey, and Ron Tugnut. Go ahead, head over to our social media there.
Give us a vote.
Waz will be tossing up the graphics here soon. And a huge shout out to Great Clips for sponsoring my game.
4,400 locations throughout the United States and Canada. Great Clips is the world's largest hair salon brand and official hair salon of the NHL. Get your hair cut when you want it. Get more details at greatclips.com. Before we get to Waz to wrap up the podcast with, can you clear that up for me? Rick's old enough Dan's old enough.
Oh, don't even talk about this.
Dallas Stars. They have been a team that I've despised since the late 90s and the early aughts. This is a team that ruined my spring so many times, a young bag milk. And I think of that Todd Marchand OT winner in game 7 often.
How about the game 6 that led to that though?
Well, that's the big
The 3
thing.
goals in the 3 goals in the last minute and whatever, and the overtime goal. Oh boy.
Rick, what are you expecting against Dallas Stars?
Okay, so initially, I'm exactly where you are there. I just have some serious PTSD about this team and this organization and everything like that. And it goes further than that throughout the years. They just have greasy, dirty players involved. They've got the glass banger over there, and that guy's kind of like the epitome of their fans. But to me, they are what they were back then in terms of where they are in the league, how, in terms of like second, first, whatever you want to call them, the best. We, however, are not that 8th tier team looking to scratch their way in there. I think we level up against them a lot better than we used to. So I am doing everything in my power to push that old stuff back, start a brand new schedule here, and we're starting fresh, and we're doing this in, I said it already, but 7.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you got?
For me, it was, I before that time, I don't think I'd ever prayed for sports, but I do remember as a young man, like as a young kid sitting on my couch, and I kneeled down on the ground and I faced the couch and I said a little prayer that maybe just once God could let the Oilers beat a team and I could see a series win. And then we got to see that. And then we got swept by the Colorado Avalanche. And that's the part where this team is not just destined to beat the Dallas Stars and then hope for anything after that. This team has greater aspirations, and I'm excited to watch it. I do think that this Oilers team needs to harness a little bit of that give a shit attitude that
hard
Oilers
hat mentality.
Yeah, that they just went to work and they brought their lunch pail, and win or lose, at the end of every game, you were proud to be an Edmonton Oilers fan. And we need that. We need that for these next 6-7 games against the Dallas Stars. You just want to be proud to be an Edmonton Oilers fan, and they left it all out on the ice, and they should be able to beat this Dallas Stars team.
I would also like to note that game 7 win in 1997, Todd Marchand blowing past Grant Ledyard. He's still spinning as far as I know.
Yeah, Andy Moog.
Top shelf on Andy Moog. That could have been one of the greatest days in a 12-year-old bag milk's life, because do you know what happened that day before that win, Tyler? I went and picked up an N64 and I played Mario Kart with my brother. We stopped it for the hockey game. We watched that baby into overtime. They won, and then I went back and I roasted my brother using Wario. Thank you.
That Cujo save, man. That Cujo save.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Nieuwendyk.
Great call.
Joke.
Great call by Bob Cole as well. Tyler, Liam, what are you expecting against the series against the Stars? You were a little bit young back in the day.
Yeah.
When these used to always happen.
I was just over 1 year old when Todd Marchand scored his
I wasn't born yet.
I was not born.
Damn it.
It is a little disheartening. We had one of the bigger media groups come in and interview a couple of our staff, and I heard them asking Zach, what was your experience? And he said, I wasn't even alive for it. And it just made me feel extra old because, again, had to pray. The first time I've ever prayed on professional sports was the Edmonton Oilers over the Dallas Stars.
I'm expecting low scoring, tight checking hockey games.
Oh, I'm expecting high scoring games.
I have a feeling I have a feeling the Stars are going to score more goals than the Oilers in the series, but the Oilers are still going to win. I think we might get blown out in a game, and it's going to be fine.
I think special teams is going to be the key, because the other special teams has been so good. If they can do that again, it should be able to balance out whatever happens at 5-on-5 and give the others the advantage.
Yeah. I also think that the Oilers are matching up pretty well at 5-on-5 based on how they're playing.
I do too. These last 3 games, game 5, they lost. They had 2. Well, that power play scored 1 goal in the last 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
So
the rest of the goals are coming 5-on-5.
5-on-5.
Like game 6, all 5 goals were 5-on-5 goals.
Perfect.
Yeah, they were.
It's going to be a tough series. That's why I'm going Oilers in 7.
The Oilers need to find that balance, though. They can't go 3 games without a power play goal or 3 games without a 5-on-5 goal. It needs to be obviously, power play isn't going to click every game, and that is what it is. It's just what power plays are, but you got to get 1 if you're getting only 2 5-on-5 goals.
And I think they got to maintain on the PK, be aggressive. Worked very, very well against Vancouver. Dallas is better than Vancouver. Stay aggressive.
They are better than Vancouver. But I think when you think about the talent on both first power play units, it's probably not too different skill-wise. Like Vancouver, to their credit, had that 5-man unit.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Was good in comparison to Dallas. It's probably not too far away. So I think the Oilers have shown they can compete against the top talents within the league, like they did against Vancouver on that power play. So I'm expecting that again against Dallas.
Another big thing, too, for the Oilers is apply the lessons from the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. Colorado was a juggernaut in that whole run.
Yeah.
But the Oilers are a better team now. They're deeper. They're more mature.
Yeah.
They've got more experience. And I think last night's win was them kind of showing like, oh no, we can learn some lessons and apply them on the ice.
Dallas bring a lot of speed to their game.
I wouldn't say it's something that's like massively stands out to them. Like they have a lot of old veteran guys. Too,
so if
like,
they don't bring a lot of
quick, they got like Heiskanen and Johnston can skate, Robertson, but like the others can skate with them.
Does that at all help Corey Perry get back in the lineup?
No,
I'm good.
No.
Like I knew we all said he wasn't fast enough for the last series, right? And we changed up the lineup, and I think we're good with that. But if you have a team that's a little bit slower and plays a little bit different, does that kind of bring him back? But no,
I don't think we're not going to see Corey Perry in the series. I bet they'll be.
We'll see him.
We'll see him, and going up against a former team of his. Let's go, big man. This is why you're here. This is why you're here, and it's gonna be interesting to see how Knobloch adjusts to a very good team.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad we get only the 2 days off. Like I don't know what the
I was
team
going to
is
ask. Do you
doing
think
today.
that helps or hurts such a quick turnaround? I think it helps because
think we're
after the
okay.
last game they had a full week. That allows kind of some rust to seep in a little bit.
We've seen the more rested team come out flat a bunch of times in these playoffs. Boston blew up Florida in round 2. We had obviously the Oilers lose to the Canucks as well. So Colorado came back and beat Dallas.
Are you saying are you asking us if it's better for game 1 of the series?
Just game 1.
Yeah, game 1, I think it can have a bit of a sway in the Oilers' favor because of, like Tyler said, like you're not coming out too flat like the other team.
And they're not, and the Oilers aren't really injured right now, right?
No, they're just sick by the sounds of it.
And they're a little, I mean, if they're anything like we are, I'm drained right now. So I'm assuming everyone kind of like stayed in bed today and you kind of get back on the ice tomorrow and then
Beers on the flight.
Oh, you got to have beers on the flight.
Probably would have been a great time.
Yeah.
That plane must have been bopping last night. All right.
I don't know. You watch all those videos from like the Oilers when they won in the 80s and stuff. And they're like, after they won the cup, you expect to walk in the dressing room, see them all cheering and stuff. And they're all drained. So I wonder if that was part of it.
We're going to bring in Waz for, can you clear that up for me for our friends at Boston Pizza? It is time to teach my boy a little something, something. I also want to give Waz some love for his walk and talk video that he posted on Instagram last night after the Oilers win in Game 7. He was just kind of cruising down Jasper, taking in the vibe. Also recorded the kid celebrating by himself on the corner. Electric. I love this city in the playoffs. I love it so much. And for Boston Pizza, I ask, it's been 30 years since a Canadian team has won hockey's ultimate prize. And for some teams, it's been a lot longer than that. What would it take for Canadian hockey fans to set aside their differences and work together and end this drought? Is it their team or nothing? Or could they get behind a rival under the right circumstances? Rick says we don't want him.
Just for the record, like I backed that up with the fact that I would not do it.
I just love it for Boston Pizza's purposes.
I wouldn't do it either.
They asked a question.
I know. Hey, they are
Like I
only
will
asking
sit
a
there and
question.
gladly eat a Boston Brute and give my same answer.
They don't need all of us. They just need David Quadrelli to get on board.
And Big Dave, by all accounts, he's already securing an Oilers jersey. I talked to him today. Big Dave is in.
Philip
man.
Larson, 21.
Just before we get to, can you clear that out for me? Waz, you've been out on the streets asking people, what is the general vibe when you ask them the question if they could cheer for an opposing team?
Oh, they will drop fuck that. Just general F-bombs. A lot
Excellent.
of F-bombs.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of censoring with these videos.
I really appreciate that Boston Pizza is just ready to ask the question.
It's a great question. I
They
love
know.
it.
He's basically saying all of Canada should come together to cheer for Dallas against the Oilers. I'm like, nice.
Please.
Well, Mike Gould is a big Flames guy, so that makes sense. Waz, what do you
They
got for us
talk a
today?
lot.
Well, next, first up here is I saw this floating around through the Canucks while the Canucks fans were making excuses last night. Is losing Thatcher Demko and Brock Besser the same as if the Oilers lost, a McDavid due to injury?
Yeah, Brock Besser is their most dynamic forward. He's obviously not as good as McDavid, but he means a lot to them. I don't think goaltending was the reason they lost the series. I think it's hard to sit there and be like, oh, Demko, they really miss Demko. Like, yeah, maybe he could have stolen them an extra game, I guess, but I don't know. I didn't think Shelov's was terrible. So
I think that Besser, Shelov's played really well for the most part. I think Besser was a bigger loss to the Canucks than in Game 7 than Demko probably would have. Because if you look at Shelov's last night, again, it would have been 5-6-0 had it not been for him. So I think Besser was probably the bigger loss.
Yeah, I don't know if his issue caused any changed his gameplay in Game 6, but Besser played in Game 6.
I mean, just for me, it's I don't know. It's just one of those things. Brett said it before. Are the Edmonton Oilers supposed to be like, hold on, let's wait to play the Game 7 until Brock is ready and healthy? I don't know. Being healthy is a part of hockey, and being in the lineup is a part of being a contributor in the lineup. It kills me.
Well, also in the same breath, how many of these players are already banged up? The Oilers, David, for example, he's probably got something. Draisaitl, all these players are dealing with injuries, so no one's healthy right now. So, but moving on to the next round here, what's the difference between, let's say, the 2022 Avalanche and the 2024 Dallas Stars? Both wagons both met the Oilers in the Western Conference Final.
I think Colorado had a couple. Their top end players were better. I don't think Dallas doesn't have a Nate McKinnon.
They don't have a Cale Makar.
They don't have a Cale Makar.
Really good.
He's really good. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's not Cale. He wasn't Cale Makar was at the time.
Do you remember how good Cale Makar was 2 years ago, though?
He was offside.
He was unstoppable.
That was offside.
I don't think Heiskanen is as good offensively, but I think he can be just as impactful. I agree.
He's a great player.
Dallas is going to beat you with depth, though. So, yeah.
Yeah, Dallas comes in waves where Colorado, I guess they came in waves too, but it was
because that run they still had Comfer and Kadri and Landeskog. They were deep.
I think those players are just lacking the generational factor, if anything.
Yeah.
So, next up here is this is, I think I've asked this before, but since it's coming up again, clear this up for me. The narrative that Bouchard only excels because of Draisaitl and McDavid. Oilers fans know that's not the case. However, does it feel he's kind of underrated amongst other fans around the league still?
Bouchard only excels because of Matthias Ekholm.
Bouchard's becoming properly rated. First defenseman to ever have 20 points to the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. That's crazy.
If you can't look at what Evan Bouchard did in that series against the Canucks and go, oh man, he's legit, then you don't watch hockey, or you're incredibly biased against the Oilers. He was so good through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. He's an absolute stud.
Tyson Barrie would be putting up these numbers.
If you can't see it when you're watching, I think there's still the fancy stats out there that you want to go look at it there, and I think it proves it there. So when you have both sides of that going on, it's really tough to argue that.
Yeah, it's funny when he puts up these numbers, people are like, he's doing it because of McDavid and Draisaitl. No,
how did McDavid do anything with those shots? How did Leon doing those shots?
Last question. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but I'm someone who got into hockey kind of after the Oilers Stars rivalry. So why do we hate the Stars so much? Why do we need to hate them? Because I don't really hate them. You guys seem to have a bit of some angst against them.
From 1997 till about 2002 or 3, every year that we made the playoffs, we had to play Dallas. Every year that we made the playoffs, we were probably the 7th or 8th seed. They were the 1 or 2 seed. They had all the money. We had no money. We were the small market. They were the big market. It was always David versus Goliath. Rarely did, even we won in 97, but even 98, I think we were close. We get swept in 4 games, and every game would be a 1-goal game. We'd be so close. We just couldn't afford the talent they had. And then it was just every single year for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it was.
Yeah, for a lot of us that are roughly mine, Rick's, and Dan's age, every spring, the Oilers would just squeak into the playoffs. Sometimes in
7 or 8.
Last handful of games of the year, they would go up against Dallas and just get pummeled. Because also back then too, different era of hockey, clutching, grabbing, hacking, slashing. Darian Hatcher was such a hateable defenseman on the Dallas Stars. He was vicious with his stick. He would claw, he would grab, he would hold. And that was just the Dallas Stars. And the Oilers would go up against them every single year. And every year we go, fuck, is this the one when we finally get through? And it was few and far between. That's why we talk about the Marchand Game 7 winner all the time, is because those series back then was just, the Stars ended my playoff run every year. And I will never forget.
You have the luxury, Waz, and people of your vintage and below have the luxury of growing up with the salary cap. And that's the biggest thing is just that Edmonton was a small market team, and we turned into, in the 90s, we were a development team for other markets to come in and grab players like Doug Waite and Jason Arnott off of our roster once we couldn't afford them any more of their skills. So it's just small market versus the big Southern team that doesn't even like hockey and they're still better at it than us kind of feeling.
Is this almost like a chance for this rivalry to be reignited as well?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I don't think we're not that little Mac type of guy. We are right there with them, and I think it's a different.
And I think they're in a different division, so there's that element too. It's just kind of it's cooled off. But if we piss off the Stars fans enough, absolutely, I could see the rivalry firing up again.
Perfect. Thank you for clearing that for me.
There's Was for our friends at Boston Pizza.
Goodbye, Matthew.
Thank you.
It's been 30 years since Canadian teams won hockey's ultimate prize, and for some, it's been a lot longer than that. What would it take for Canadian hockey fans to set aside their differences and work together to end the drought? Is it their team or nothing? Could you get behind a rival under the right circumstances? Maybe. Probably not.
Probably not.
Money.
If you pay me, I'll cheer for someone else. Or actually, no, you can pay me and I won't actively cheer against your team.
You can pay me enough to cheer for somebody else, but we're talking, you're going to break out at least 1 comma.
At least 1 comma?
Oh, yeah.
I'd like 2 commas. I'm greedy. I'm selfish.
Depending on the team, definitely. We're making deals here.
Tyler and Liam, just to ask you guys, because again, you were like, you talked about it, you weren't born during some of those series. Like, what do you kind of make of us old fellas carrying a grudge 20 years into the future to go in 2024?
Yeah, I think when you got, like, I understand the history and the angle of it, of like, they were a big market. They took our players. Like, I totally get why they were hated at the time. And I guess maybe I do see the side of like, there still isn't that, there isn't that storyline anymore. So maybe it'll be a bit more tame.
Yeah, I kind of get it from like in soccer, there's no salary cap, right? And the team I cheer for, when they were good, they were that team every year that would like get these players from wherever they could get them for nothing. And then all of a sudden, your Manchester United, your Chelsea's, your Arsenals, whoever it may be, would come in and just sweep your players when you couldn't afford them anymore. So I get that angle. And quite frankly, I hate all of those teams, and we haven't played them for like 10 years. So I totally understand it.
Yeah, I just think that I lost my train of thought. No, it's just that it's that. Fuck yeah! I can't think of what you guys had. You triggered something for me though, Liam, where it was just like that. Oh, it's the missing part of the equation. I think is the Stars fans not having that animosity towards us. Yeah. I really feel like it's an Oilers fans against the Stars kind of mentality.
I think there's gonna be some Stars fans out there that were around and still, we may not hear them. Obviously, 2 different cities and we're very far apart. But there's going to be some ones who are out there as we're feeling the lesser end of things. They're going to be out there walking around going, yeah, we beat you back then too. Like, well, okay, it's 20 years ago now, man.
We'll fight them all.
Let's wrap the podcast up. We got a game 1 happening on Thursday. Join us at Greta for the watch party. Dan, what's your score prediction game 1?
I'm going to pull a Waz here. Sorry, guys. 5-2 Dallas Stars.
Boo, Dan.
Yep.
Liam?
I'm just going to say Oilers win.
3-2 in overtime.
You guys are nuts. Well, I got like 4-1. I love overtime, but good Lord, you guys, do you not remember how that felt?
I'm just giving predictions.
I feel like you're
Oilers
speaking
win,
into the
coming
universe.
at you. We got an empty netter in there to lock it up in game 1. Have a great week, everybody. We will talk to you on Friday.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.